Chanukah HaMizbeach. Happy Hanukkah, everyone. Chag Sameach and Shabbat Shalom. We will now turn into our Siddur and get started with the Kabbalat Shabbat service, the service for welcoming Shabbat. I invite everyone to turn to page 5 in our Siddur. Let's sing together Shalom Aleichem. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Mi Melech Malachei HaMalachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu. Boachem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Baruchuni leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Tzeitechem leshalom, malachei hashalom, malachei elyon. Mi melech malachei hamalachim, hakadosh baruch hu. Let's turn together to page 11. And we'll sing together Psalm 95, Lechu Neranena. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu, Nekadma Fanav Betoda. Naria, Naria, Letsuri Shenu, Bizmirot Naria lo. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena, Lechu Neranena l'Adonai. If only you would listen today to God's voice and not become hard-hearted like the people at Merivah, like the time at Massah in the desert, when your ancestors tried me and tested me, though they had seen what I had wrought. For 40 years I was troubled by that generation, and I said, these are a people whose hearts have gone astray. They do not know my way. So in anger I swore they would not enter my rest. We will turn now to page 14 for Yismechu Hashamayim. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, Hashamayim, Yismechu Hashamayim, V'tagel haaretz. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umalo. Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, Yiram hayam, umalo. Those who love Adonai hate evil. God protects the lives of the faithful, saving them from the hands of the sinful. Light is sown for the righteous and joy for the upright. Rejoice in Adonai, you righteous people, and thank God as you pronounce the divine holy name. Let us now go to page 21, and we will all rise as we sing together Psalm 29, Mizmor LeDavid. Mizmor leDavid, Havul Adonai b'nei Elim, Havul Adonai kavod va'oz, Havul Adonai kevod shemo, Ishtachavul Adonai behadrat kodesh, Kol Adonai al hamayim, el hakavod hirim, Adonai al mayim rabim, Kol Adonai ba'koach, Kol Adonai behadar, Kol Adonai shover harazim, Vayishaber Adonai et arzei halevanon, Vayarkidem kemo egel levanon, Vesirion kemo venereimim, Kol Adonai chotzev lahavot eish, Kol Adonai yachil midbar, yachil Adonai midbar kadesh, Kol Adonai yechol el ayalot, vayechesof yeharot, uvehechalo kulo omer kavod, Adonai lamabul yashav, vayeshev Adonai melech leolam, Adonai oz le'amo yitein, Adonai yevarech et amo vashalom. You may be seated. We will continue now with Lechado D. Starting on page 23, we will do the first two stanzas on 23, the middle stanza on 24, and then the final stanza on 25. And when we get to the end for the final stanza, we will all rise again and face the entrance of our homes to welcome Shabbat. Pages 23 through 25. Lech Adoni likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Lech Adoni likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Shamor vezachor bedibur echad hishmianu, El hamiyuchad Adonai echad, Ushemo echad l'shem ultiferet, Ve'elitila lech Adoni likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Likrat Shabbat lechu v'nelecha, Ki mekor ha'beracha merosh mikedem, Nesucha sof ma'aseh b'machashava techila. Lech Adoni likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Hitoreri kiva orech, Kum uri, Shir daberi kevod Adonai, Alaik nigla. Lech Adoni likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Please rise and face the entrance of your home. Boi v'shalom ateret bala, Gam besimcha uvetzolato chemune, Am segula boi chala, Lech Adoni likrat kala, Penei Shabbat nekabela. Ay lai 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 lech Adoni likrat chala penei Shabbat nekabela. You may be seated. And we will now turn to page 27 for Psalm 92, the Psalm for Shabbat. Mizmor shir leyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. Mizmor shir leyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, lehagid baboker chastecha, ve'emunatecha baleilot, ale asor va'ale navel, ale higayon bechinor, mizmor shir leyom ha-Shabbat, tov lehodot l'Adonai, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon, ulezamer l'shimcha elyon. The righteous flourish like the date palm, thrive like a cedar in Lebanon, planted in the house of Adonai, they flourish in our God's courtyards. Middle of the page 28. Tzadik tamar iferach ke'eres balvanon iske shetulim beveit Adonai bechatzerot Eloheinu yafrichu od yenuvun beseva deshenim verananim yiyu lehagid ki yashar Adonai tsuri tsuri velo avalatabo. Before we continue with the service and continue with Mariv, I just want to take a minute to share a little bit about this Shabbat and this week's Torah reading. There's more than one, and Shabbat Chanukah. It happens occasionally, usually it's only once or twice a year, that on a Shabbat or a holiday, we would have to read from 3 different Torah scrolls during the service. And it sometimes happens on Shabbat Chanukah. This will happen tomorrow morning all over the world because we have our regular Torah reading for Shabbat that will be read from the first scroll. Then we have the Rosh Kodesh reading, because it is also Rosh Chodesh this evening and tomorrow. And then, of course, the Chanukah reading, which is a special maftir for Chanukah as well. So those are all read from separate Torah scrolls. However, in a lot of communities, the reading for Rosh Chodesh and the reading for Chanukah are very close in proximity to each other. They're both in the book of Numbers. And so many communities often will choose to roll the Torah scroll to the Chanukah reading after the Rosh Chodesh reading because it's a little bit more practical to do that. And that way we don't have to worry about having so many people to do Hagbah and Galila and have so many Torah scrolls moving around on the bima at the same time. That's what we're going to do tomorrow morning, is we're going to roll our second scroll to the Chanukah reading during the service. And I'll explain more about that tomorrow morning while we're doing that. But if you're interested in seeing how a service with multiple Torah scrolls takes place and what happens, please join us tomorrow morning where we will do that. We also have the Hallel service. It's a special additional service that's inserted to our regular Shabbat service because it is Rosh Chodesh and Chanukah. We will recite the special Hallel service. And I have a few tricks up my sleeve for tomorrow for that. A lot of Hanukkah tunes in store, so if you like to sing along, please make sure to be here tomorrow for that. And with that, let us continue now with our Mariv service. And I'd like to invite everyone to turn to page 39a for the Barchu and to please rise. Lai 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 la 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 Baruchu et Adonai Hamevorach.
Baruch Adonai Barach Le'olam Vaed.
Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Le'olam Vaed. La 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 la. You may be seated. Please join me on the English side of 39a in the middle. Baruch atah Adonai, our God, sovereign of time and space, whose word brings the evening dusk, whose wisdom opens the gates of dawn, whose understanding changes the day's division, whose will sets the succession of seasons and arranges the stars in their places in the sky, who creates day and night, who rolls light before darkness and darkness from light, who makes day pass into night, who distinguishes day from night. Adonai Tsevaot is your name. Living and ever-present God, may your rule be with us forever and ever. Baruch atah Adonai, who brings each evening's dusk. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila, Adonai tzevaot shemo, el chai v'kayam tamidim lo chaleinu leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai, hama'ariv aravim. Page 40, Ahavat Olam. Ahavat Olam, Beit Yisrael, Amcha Ahavta, Torah u'mitzvot, Chukim u'mishpatim, Otanu limadeta. Al kein Adonai Eloheinu, B'shokveinu u'v'kumeinu, Nasiach b'chukecha, V'nismach b'divrei Toratecha, u'v'mitzvotecha, le'olam vaed. Ki heim chayenu ve'orech yameinu uvahem nehye yomam v'layla ve'ahavatecha tasir mimenu le'olamim. Baruch atah Adonai ohev amo Yisrael. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Ve'ahavta את אדוני אלוהיך בכל לבבך ובכל נפשך ובכל מאודיך, והיו הדברים האלה אשר אנוכי מצווך היום על לבביך, ושיננתם לבניך, וניברת בם בשבתך בביתך, ובלכתך בדרך, ובשוכבך ובקומך, וקשרתם לאות על ידיך, והיו לטוטפות בין עיניך, וכתבתם על מזוזות ביתך ובשעריך. We will continue privately with the second paragraph of the Shema, top of page 42. Please join me for the third paragraph in the middle of the page. Vayomer Adonai el Moshe lemor, daber el Bnei Yisrael ve'amarta alehem ve'asu lahem tzitzit al kanfei vigdeihem ledorotam ve'natenu al tzitzit hakanaf betil techelet והיה לכם לציצית, וריתם אותו, וזכרתם את כל מצוות אדוני, ועשיתם אותם, ולא תטורו אחרי לבבכם ואחרי עיניכם, אשר אתם זונים אחריהם, למען תזכרו ועשיתם את כל מצוותי, והייתם קדושים לאלוהיכם. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אשר הוצאתי אתכם מארץ מצרים, להיות לכם לאלוהים. אני אדוני אלוהיכם, אדוני אלוהיכם אמת. Top of page 43a. אמת ואמונה כל זאת וקיים עלינו, כי הוא אדוני אלוהינו ואין זולתו, ואנחנו ישראל עמו. הבודע מהמלאכים. ומלכותו ברצון קיבלו עליהם משה ובני ישראל לכנו שירה בשמחה רבה, ואמרו כולם מי כמוך באלים אדוני, מי כמוך נדר בקודש, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה, נורא תהילות אוסף אלה. מלכותך ראו בניך בוקר ים לפני משה, זהי לי אנו ואמרו אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד. ונאמר כי פדה אדוני את יעקב וגאלום יד חזק ממנו, ברוך אתה אדוני גאל ישראל. We will continue with Hashkivenu on page 45. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Hashkivenu Adonai Eloheinu leshalom. Shelter us in the shadow of your wings, for you, God, watch over and deliver us. And you, God, our sovereign, merciful, and compassionate, ensure our going and coming for life and peace, now and forever. May you spread over us your canopy of peace, Baruch Atah Adonai, who spreads the canopy of peace over us, over all the people Israel, and over Jerusalem. ושמור צאתנו ובואנו לחיים ולשלום מעתה ועד עולם ופרוס עלינו סוכת שלומך ברוך אתה אדוני הפורש סוכת שלום עלינו ועל כל עמו ישראל ועל ירושלים. And we will continue now with Vishamru and Chatzi Kaddish on page 46. Please rise. Vishamru Bnei Yisrael et ha-Shabbat לעשות את השבת לדורותם ברית עולם. ביני ובין בני ישראל אותי לעולם. כי ששת ימים עשה אדוני את השמיים ואת הארץ, וביום השביעי שבת ויהי נפש. יתגדל ויתקדש שמי רבה. בעלמא יברך חירותי וימליך מלכותי בחייכון וביומייכון ובחיי דכל בית ישראל בעגלה בעגלה ובזמן קריב ואמרו אמן. יהי שמי רבם מברך לעלם ולעלמי עלמיה. יתברך, יתברך וישתבח, ויתפאר ויתרומם ויתנשא, ויתהדר ויתעלה, ויתהלל שמי דקודשה, בריחו לעילה מן כל ברכתה ושירתה, תושבחתה ונחמתה, דאמירן בעלמא, ואמרו Amen. We will continue now with the silent Amidah that begins on page 47. Because this Shabbat is Rosh Chodesh and Chanukah, there's a little bit of page flipping that you will need to do for the Amidah this evening. First, because it's Rosh Chodesh, you will need to insert the Rosh Chodesh insertion on page 50 in the middle of the page. And then when you get to the bottom of page 50, you will have to turn all the way to the back of the Siddur to page 430 for the Chanukah insertion, after which then you turn back to page 51. So we will continue now with the silent Amidah for Shabbat, Rosh Chodesh, and Chanukah. Ose shalom, shalom mimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Ose shalom, shalom mimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Hu yaseh shalom. Aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru amen. Ose shalom, shalom mimromav, hu yaseh shalom. Ose shalom, shalom mimromav, hu yaseh shalom. We will now turn to page 54 and continue with the full Kaddish in the middle of the page. Yitkadal vitkadash merabah. Be'alamadi v'rach hirutei v'amlich malchutei v'chayechonu v'yomechonu v'chayechol beit Yisrael b'agalav izman karim ve'yimeru amen. Yehei shemei rabba mevarach le'alam me'almaya yitbarach Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal shmei l'kudesha b'richu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata damiran be'alma v'yimeru amen. Titkabal tzalot ahon v'hatahon d'chol Yisrael kodama v'hon d'vishmaya v'yimeru amen. Yehei shlam rabba min shamaya v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'yimeru amen. Oseh shalom imromav hu yaseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'imeru. Amen. We will continue now with the Shabbat evening Kiddush. If you have your grape juice or wine handy, please go ahead and get that now. We will turn to page 55 and we will all rise for the Kiddush. Page 55. Savrim Adonai v'Rabbanan v'Rabbotai Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Borei peri hagafen Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam Asher kiddishanu b'mitzvotav v'ratzavanu V'shabbat kodsho be'ahava uvratzon hinechilanu Zikaron lema'aseh v'reishit Ki hu yom techila lemikrae kodesh zecher litziat Mitzrayim Ki vanu v'acharta ve'otanu kidashta mikol hamim V'shabbat kodshecha be'ahava uv'ratzon hinechalotanu Baruch atah Adonai mekadesh haShabbat. And we will remain standing as we continue with Aleinu on page 56. Aleinu leshabeach ladon hakol plateit gedula leotzer breshit shelo asanu kegoye haratzot velo samanu kemishpechot ha'adama שלא שם חלקנו כהם וגורלנו ככל המונם ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסר הארץ ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל ושכינתו זו בגובהי מרומים הוא אלוהינו אין עוד Emet Malkeinu Efes Ulato ככתוב בתורתו וידעת היום והשבות אל לבבך כי אדוני הוא האלוהים בשמיים ממעל ועל הארץ מתחת אין עוד על כן נכבד לך אדוני אלוהינו ככתוב בתורתך אדוני ימלוך לעולם ועד ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. At this point in our service, we will remember those who are no longer with us in our community. This Shabbat we remember Louis Gans, Robert Weiner, Beatrix Kahn, Maxine Slipsky, Joe Siegel, Jules Gollins, Jeanette Behar Mayo, Juliana Sackett, Rebecca Axelrod, Barry Shallett, and Zulema Navarro. And if there is anyone else that you are remembering this Shabbat, please take a moment to remember them in your mind and in your heart. May all of their memories be for goodness and for a blessing. And we will continue with Mourner's Kaddish, page 58. Yit Gadal v'yit Kadash Shemei Rabbah, Be'alma divarach Hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, B'chayechon u'v'yomechon u'v'chayei dechol Beit Israel, Ba'agala u'v'izman u'v'ariv v'imru Amen. Yehei Shemei Rabbah me'almaya. Yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitromam v'yitnaseh v'yithadar v'yitale v'yithalal Shemei dekudesha barichu le'ela min kol berchata v'shirata tushbechata v'nechamata da'amiran be'alma v'imru Amen. Yehei shalom rabba min shemaya v'chaim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. Oseh shalom b'imromav hu ya'aseh shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru Amen. You may be seated. And Harvey, do we have any announcements?
We have no announcements.
No announcements.
No announcements. Show tomorrow, 9 o'clock. That's it.
Okay.
Sweet.
All right, wonderful. Yes, tomorrow morning we will be in person at 9:30, and as I mentioned, it's going to be a big service because of Shabbat and Rosh Chodesh. We have all these wonderful special extra things that are going to take place tomorrow, so please come and join us for that if you can. We will conclude this evening with Adon Olam on page 211. Adon Olam Asher Malach B'terem Kol Yetzir Nivra Le'et Na'asa V'chefso Kol Azai Melech Shemo Nikra Ve'acharei Kicholot HaKol Levado Imloch Nora Vehu haya, vehu hove, vehu yihye betifara, vehu echad, ve'ein sheni, lehamshir lo, lehachmira, beli reshit, beli tachlit, ve'lo ha'oz, ve'hamisra, Vehu Eli v'chai go'ali v'tzur chevli be'et Sarah והוא ניסי ומנוס לי מנת כוסי ביום אקרא בידו אבקיד רוחי בעת אישן ואירה ואם רוחי גביעתי אדוני לי ולא אירא. Shabbat Shalom, everyone. Chag Chanukah Sameach and Chodesh Tov.
Good Shabbos, everyone. Good Shabbos.
Shabbat Shalom. Beautiful service, Cantor.
Shabbat Shalom. Happy Chanukah.
Happy Hanukkah. Thank you for joining us, everybody. Okay, enjoy your lunches. All righty. Bye-bye, everyone.
Bye.